Go ahead and share in the chat. Where are you coming in from? Share in the chat. Where are you coming in from? We're going to get started in just one moment. Thank you for being on time. My name is Clinton Young. I'm going to come on camera in just one momentino. Give me one sec here. All right. All right. Hey, Jody from London. Welcome. 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 All right. Let me share my screen. Boom. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Whoop, I'm not on camera yet. There I am. Hello. How are you? So great to meet all of you. Can't wait to get to know you a little bit more. We've got Richard from Boston. I'm actually from Massachusetts originally, living out in San Diego, California now. We've got Stephanie from, wow, I'm not even going to attempt that one, from Canada, somewhere in Canada. Marianne from Boston as well. We got Seth in Joshua Tree, California, one of my wife's favorite places on the planet. I hate sand personally, but I do love me some Joshua trees. Also San Francisco. We got Robin in Sarasota, Florida. We got Alice in Indonesia. Welcome. I've been to Bali several times. I've been to a couple of islands actually in Indonesia. Very, very cool. Welcome from Indonesia. We've got Tesh in Virginia. We've got Yvonne from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Love it. We've got Akhtar from New Jersey. We've got Carrie from Ireland. Welcome. One of my favorite gigs I've ever done, Carrie, in Ireland, was in Sligo. I think it's called Sligo, northwest corner. You know where it is, I'm sure. Ireland's pretty small, but beautiful country. If you haven't been to Ireland, amazing. One of my favorite gigs I've ever done. Ruth from Ireland, another one from Ireland. All right, awesome. And then Brenita, where are we coming in from? From Tennessee. The founder of this company is actually in Nashville, Tennessee. We've got Janice in Texas. All right. One last story. My wife and I took a RV tour for 2 years, just under 2 years, a couple of years ago. And we ended up in Texas. We got stuck in Austin. Austin's pretty dang cool, but you know how to do your weather out there. Oh my goodness. It was hot and crazy tornadoes. You don't want to be in an RV when you're in a tornado. In Sagar in London, y'all call them a carnival, or what are they, carnivals? No, not carnivals. What are you, caravans? You call them caravans over there in the UK. I speak quite a bit in the UK. If you want to know a little bit more about me, I'm actually going to share my website right now. I just stopped sharing screen. Hold on one sec. Bing, bang, boom. Just to give you a little more confidence in your instructor for the day today. This is me. I'm one of those guys, yes, that jumps around the stage. Sorry, that's just how I do it. You don't have to do it that way. My talk is called Reigniting Your Human Spirit, and it's all about having the courage to break through your limiting beliefs to live your dream life now. So I don't always jump around the stage. That was a huge, huge audience, at like 1,100 people at a big Jumbotron in the middle of the room, and then a huge floor-to-ceiling screen behind me. You can see the screens moving. It was a ton of fun. Oh my goodness. So I had a blast. Anyways, if you want to check me out, you can at clintonyoung.com. Today's not about me though. Today's about you, my friends. So let's jump right in. As you can see, we've got people from all around the world on here, everywhere from Indonesia to London to Canada to the United States and Australia, all around the world. In fact, in the last 10 years we've been in business, we've literally helped over almost 17,000 people now in 53 countries around the world. People just like you on your path to getting booked and paid to speak. Now, it's great to have you here today, and I know your time is super valuable, so we're going to jump right in. My goal today is to give you the clarity that you need that leads to confidence, and that's my sole goal, is that your confidence just raises a little bit today about what's possible, and a clear path to making your impact as a speaker opens up. That is my goal for today. So welcome to Booked and Paid Masterclass, the 5 keys to launching your successful speaking career, where you're going to discover how you can launch your own speaking business in as little as 2 days, y'all. 2 days. Now, before we dive in, just please, for the love of God, a couple ground rules. Please put your phone on do not disturb. I'm going to do it to mine right now. Make sure I have no alarms that are going to go off, and just lock in, because what I have to share with you today has the absolute power to, I'm not even kidding you, change your life, okay, as it relates to speaking. Because some of you have literally been trying to do this for years, like years and you haven't been able to figure it out. Or if you're already getting booked and paid, you've been trying to get to the next level, right? So make sure you can focus, take some notes. Don't worry about writing every single thing down I say, because just get the core concepts. We're going to be moving fast. You're not going to be able to write everything down, and it's okay. It's okay. Just get the core concepts, all right? So let me know in the chat how many years it actually has been for you that you've wanted to get booked and paid to speak. Let me know that in the chat. I'm going to shut my door while you're doing that so we don't have my dog. Don't want my dog to start barking here later on. I'm obviously working from home. So let me know in the chat, how many years has it been since you've wanted to get booked and paid? And if you've already gotten booked and paid, how many years has it been since you've wanted to take it to the next level? If you are just joining us, hello, nice to have you. My name is Clinton, and I'm an international keynote speaker and event coach here at Booked and Paid. Sorry for those of you who already have heard that a couple times, but some people are just joining us right now. And I've been speaking professionally for about 8 years. If you want to check me out, you can at clintonyoung.com. I've spoken all around the UK, as I've mentioned previously, and all across the United States as well. All right, awesome. So I'm actually going to put the chat on private right now because we're going to get we have over 190 people registered for this. Everybody always shows up late, so it gets very distracting in the chat. So, but keep chatting, and I'm going to tell you why that's important to you to do that in a couple of moments. So just a little more about my background and my trajectory, if you will. I've done keynotes, workshops, seminars, coaching, you name it. I've probably done it. And I've had the good fortune to meet some of the greatest speakers and speak on stages with some of the greatest speakers on the planet. And humbly speaking, I never would have thought this would have happened when I first got started. But I was recently recognized by Arianna Huffington from the Huffington Post on their Thrive Global publication as a top 12 speaker to inspire you. So for what it's worth, they think I'm a pretty good speaker. One thing that I've gotten, fairly good, I get the hiccups, fairly good at on stage is a skill that you're also going to want to master. And that's breaking down complex ideas into simple, digestible concepts. Okay. And you can do that by telling stories. So I'm going to tell you some stories today because it's proven that when you tell stories, your audience actually learns faster and retains way more information. So type the words "I'm in the chat. If you're willing to go all in today and get the biggest bang for your buck, get the biggest return on investment of your time, because there's one last thing all right, love it. I'm in. Thank you, Tesh, Seth, Shauna, Yvonne, love it. Type the words "I'm in the chat because we're taking notes. We're keeping track here. We want to know who the action takers are, because there's one last thing I want to share with you about myself. And that is that I'm a little bit of a psychology nerd. And there's a reason why I say that, because there's this body of work called accelerated learning that, reduced to its simplest form, is activating both sides of the brain, right? So as to learn faster and retain more information, right? So there's several ways to do that as a speaker. One of the ways is telling stories. One of the ways is typing in the chat, "I'm in," right? Like getting engaged actually activates both sides of the brain. Call and response, Shauna. Call and what? Call and response, right? Doing that with your audience, using different colored pens when you're taking notes, right? Using music during journaling exercises, high-fiving your neighbor in a live environment. There's so many reasons why, there is a reason why everything I'm going to do today, behind everything I'm going to do today, because it's to create what I like to call is an optimal learning environment. Write that down. Optimal learning environment. All right, Tom says "I'm in." Beautiful. All right. And when you fully engage in this optimal learning environment, you're going to retain way more than others who don't. So again, type the words "I'm in" if you haven't already in the chat to show me that you are an action taker and to start activating both sides of your brain. It sounds goofy, I know, but trust me, it works. So let's talk about where we're going today. Let me ask you this. Who here is already a paid public speaker? Type the word "paid" in the chat and tell me how much you've been paid, the highest amount. If you're not a paid speaker, you're an aspiring speaker. Type the word "aspiring" because you want to be a paid speaker. Now, while you do that, I'm going to go ahead and rock your world with some very exciting metrics about the speaking industry and share with you why some data that supports why right now is the very best time in human history to figure this out and get booked and paid to speak. Seth says 2,500 bucks. Jody, how much you been paid? Oh, less than 500. Got it. Okay. Marianne, how much? Shauna, 2,500. A lot of aspiring speakers. Alice, how much? A lot of aspiring speakers. Stephanie says $1,200 for an hour. I encourage you to never, ever, ever charge by hour. Okay, just switch that. Because you're not getting paid for the hour for your time. That's having a job, trading time for dollars. You're getting paid for the result. Okay, so switch that. Marianne says 1,200. Alice says $100,000 and get one client because of it. So Alice, were you paid $100,000 as a keynote message to get on a stage, or were you paid $100,000 because they bought your product in the back of the room? Tell me more about that. That's pretty awesome right there. All right. So did you know that according to the Events Industry Council and other data sources, that the average experienced speaker is making over $16,000 per speech? I want to ask Alice, this is pretty rare that somebody on this call has made $100,000 from one speech. She got one speech for $100,000. That's pretty amazing, Alice. What brings you here? Tell us in the chat. I'll tell everybody. Is it that you haven't been able to consistently get booked and paid to speak, or you feel like you should be getting paid more? Talk to us. Robin says she's clapping for you. Got it. Clarify, it's 10 speak. I don't know what that means. Tell me more what you mean by that. Did you mean 10? Oh, $10,000. Holy cow. All right. It was a typo, ladies and gentlemen. It's not 100,000. It was 10,000. Okay. That's still pretty awesome. So do you want to get paid more? Or is it that you're just not getting paid consistently enough? Normally it's one of those two or both. All right, well, check this out. Did y'all know, write this down, by the way, brand new speakers, according to the Events Industry Council, are making up to $7,000. Write that down. Quiz later, I promise you. 53% of respondents to a massive survey done last year were actually raising their fees going into the next year, all right? Soon to be a $2.3 billion industry. They actually called it the year of the speaker. And folks, they're calling this year, Alice, Hazel, Robin, all the ladies on here, Stephanie, they're calling this year the year of the female speaker. What? There's a huge shortage of female speakers. Massive, massive shortage. There has been for several years, but it's very prominent this year. Now, that doesn't mean there's not opportunities for other people, men, people in between, transgender. Like, there's opportunities for everybody. Just saying, right? Folks, it is the very best time in human history to become a paid speaker. Bottom line. It just is. So you're in the right spot. And this next hour is going to really rock your world, okay? So hopefully you're fired up about that. Some more useful data about the industry. Some of the top budgeted topics right now: leadership, motivation, mental health, wellness, well-being, work-life balance, company culture, DEI, artificial intelligence, technology, sales and marketing. And yes, this is live right now, okay, if anybody's asking. And you're likely sitting on a six-figure paid speaking business, okay, and you don't even know it. All right. So lock in, pay attention. I'm excited to show you how you can actually get in the business this year, or to take your business to the next level. And after this presentation, you're going to know the exact framework that literally 17,000 speakers around the world are using right now and getting booked and paid to speak. Okay. And you're going to know the number one tool you need to get booked and paid to speak. And you're going to see how students who are following this system, speakers, are literally earning up to $133,000 to $298,000 to over $657,000 per year, y'all. And you're going to learn how you can actually get in the game in 2 days. All right. So obviously you're not going to make 657 in your first year. I don't think I need to say that, but I'm going to say that anyways. The gentleman who I'm going to share with you that's doing that, he's been working with us for about 8 years, 7, 8 years, right? He's doing 657. He's doing over that, doing about 700,000 now. You know, at first I was like many of you, like I spoke a lot at work, in jobs, businesses, but I'd never been paid to speak, right? And I knew I was a great speaker. And I just wanted to get my first gig. I was tired of speaking for free. And I finally got it, February 2018, $500 college commencement speech. And I said, if I can just make $5,000 per gig, now we're in business, right? Can't really do much with $500, but $5,000, those can stack up pretty good. And I had a full-time job at the time, working 50 hours a week. I was speaking part-time, like 3 hours, 5 hours. And I was at a point of decision. I knew I could continue to go it alone, and it was kind of going to be the hard route. I could figure it out, probably do a lot more free gigs, or I could find someone that could help me. And that's personally what I chose to do. I've hired several coaches and mentors in the past, and systems, et cetera. So I chose to invest in myself in that way. And due to that, because I got a system that was proven, I was able to get my first $10,000 gig, literally part-time in 17 months. Okay. 17 months, part-time, first $10,000 gig. And since then I've become an international keynote speaker. I speak on courage primarily. You can see I don't know if you can see my microphone. And I'm one of the top trainers here at Booked and Paid. So folks, if you're already a paid speaker, you might be author, expert, professor, entrepreneur, expert, someone in corporate America who speaks, and you've gotten paid, but probably not for what you're worth, right? Like Alice came back to me and she said she just wants to get paid more than 10,000, right? Which is great. You should be getting paid probably 15 or 20. But you're probably at the whim of whoever asks you to speak a lot of times. People don't have the business side of speaking down. So that's what we're going to cover today, the business side of speaking. And if you're an aspiring speaker, you've probably spoken for free, or you're the one that looks up on stage and you say, I could totally do that. Or if your friends and family are telling you should be a speaker because you're so great at it, that's a telltale sign you should be a speaker. But you're tired of speaking for free like I was, right? And I'm going to show you how to avoid time-consuming and costly mistakes and start out on the right foot. Okay. Now, for all of you on here today, we're going to show you how to clarify your positioning. Write that word down. Positioning. Sagar, I turned off the chats because it gets a little distracting. We have over 190 people registered for this event, so it gets a little distracting. Now, if we cover that in the next hour, right, to show you how to have the clarity and confidence and a clear path to make your impact as a speaker, and same path to earning 6 figures from stage, by the way, would you say that will be time well spent? I'm thinking so, right? Well, by the time the end of this, by staying till the end, I should say, we're going to give you a phenomenal gift, and that is our stage-winning email templates. These are the same templates we've used with thousands and thousands of people around the world. One of our students, Anne-Marie Anderson, uses these. She books $15,000 gigs, and she still says, even to this day, if I feel stuck, I pull out the TSL email templates, and they prove over and over that they have really good response rate. All right, is that a good gift or what? All right, I'm thinking so. Now, in order to share where we're going, I think it's important for you to know where we've been, and that starts with my friend and mentor, the founder of the Speaker Lab, which is the name of the company, and Booked and Paid is the event that you're in right now, okay? The masterclass. So he's the founder, and it's from what I heard him speak, I heard him say in 2016, that was before he even had this company. Well, he had the company, but he didn't have it at the state it's in now. That really propelled me to start speaking professionally. He's been a huge influence on me getting booked and paid. And, Grant's quick story, he started off as a youth pastor in Missouri in 2006. And he and his wife, Sheila, decided to pursue Grant's speaker dream. And, they're newlyweds, new parents, just had their first of 3 daughters, Sydney, totally broke, no savings, and stepped out in faith. He actually quit his job, which we do not recommend that you do. You don't need to do that these days. But that's what he did. He quit his job as a youth pastor to pursue his dream, and his friends and family were quite understandably concerned because he had to take down part-time jobs in security and as a part-time waiter and moonlighting as a professional speaker, juggling everything, and he was not getting paid for over a year. And they were getting tired of this juggling act because back then there was no system to follow or proven process. Like, he was old school. He was just talking to everyone and anyone, and to his surprise, one day he actually got a response. It was an event planner of a nearby 4-H conference who wanted him to speak on leadership to a few hundred students. And he said, yes. He didn't even know what he's getting paid, but he gets to the hotel and there's a gift basket. And he's like, oh my goodness, I've arrived. This is what life's going to be like, right? And he goes to bed blissfully unaware of the hard road that actually laid ahead of him. And the next day he wakes up, he eats breakfast, he goes down to the convention center. And, many young people are skeptical of motivation speakers. And, this group was no different at all. And he's nervous as all get out. He'd practice his speech dozens of times, but, it was time to see if all his hard work would pay off. Either he would fall flat on his face or this dream might just work. Either way, he would know if speaking was for him. Now, as soon as he steps on stage, in front of 400 students, he's freaking out, like anxiety's 10 out of 10, and then, he starts to deliver his speech. He does the best job he can, and then nothing happens, at least not at first. And then all of a sudden, this moment of silence comes over him, and he's just like, did I totally blow my only chance of becoming a professional speaker? Right? Did I rush the talk, botch the delivery? And then finally somebody saves him. They start clapping in the back. He's got this little golf clap going. And then all of a sudden another and another. Before you know it, the whole room full of teenagers and adults is standing and applauding his speech. He can't believe he gets literally a standing ovation on his first paid speech. And afterward, he's in that kind of speaker's high, you know what I'm talking about, where you're in that state of awe and bliss, and people are coming up to him and asking him, just questions, and he's just in this buzz, right? You know what I'm talking about. And ever since childhood, he thought back to, when he used to watch his pastor captivate audiences with his words. And here he is, like living Grant's dream. This is his dream. And he's like, here I am living it finally. And on the way out the door, he stops to see the event planner to thank them, and they give him an envelope. And he looks inside. It's got a check for $1,000, right? All he can do is stare at it. He's like, I just made $1,000 to run my mouth for 45 minutes, and it was pure fun. And I know I made an impact. Can anybody see what that's going to feel like for you? Pretty cool, right? He was so moved. True story. He had to go out to the car. He broke down crying. You got to understand, this is exactly what his family needed. They're running on fumes, and this is what they needed, both financially and also emotionally. So instead of driving away, he sat there in the car and he said to himself, like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what I'm meant to do. He said, this is my calling. In fact, type the word calling in the chat. Robin's fired up. Type the word calling in the chat, Sagar, if you feel like this is your calling. Now, it might not be your calling. That's not, I'm not trying to make it be your calling. Maybe you just know that speaking is the very best way in human history to grow your business, your personal brand, your business. It's the best way to market and sell anything, right? Type the word business if that's the reason why you're here, right? It's totally cool either way, right? Well, from that point on, he knew he wanted to be a speaker, to travel the world, to make an impact. And I know a lot of you want that same life. And, over the next 10 years, he travels the world speaking on stages for events that earn him backstage access to some of the most intelligent and successful speakers in the industry. And with each new event coordinator and speaker he met, he learned a little bit more about what it takes to win in this industry. And Grant's been quite successful himself. And since then, he's delivered over 1,000 presentations, earning more than $2 million in speaking fees, and speaking to over 500,000 people. 500,000 people, folks. Grant truly believes that if he can do it, then so can you. And you don't need to quit your job either. You see, on his 10-year journey, Grant met hundreds of other speakers, and talking to them realized they all kind of followed the same process, but nobody had ever broken it down, right? And laid it out as a system, as a framework. So folks, if you have, the desire to become a professional speaker, if you've always thought that you had something inside of you that needed to be shared, but you weren't quite sure if you could actually do it, I'm here to tell you that it's up to you to find a way to share it with the world. It's not going to fall out of the sky and bop you on the head. Okay. You've got to take action. I'm going to shoot straight with you today. Like, I'm not going to sit here and placate anybody. Like, this isn't easy. There's no silver bullet, but I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. And it's just up to you to take the action. Is that okay with you? All right. Now, some of you might be struggling, and it might be because you think you need to become a social media icon, one of the Kardashians. You don't need to do that. Some of you might think you need a bunch of money for a website or a demo video, or you need to get certified as a coach, or that none of those things are it, or pay for leads. You don't need to do any of those things, right? Eventually you'll need those things, but in the beginning, you don't need those things. Some of you are ready to take action, but you're like, I don't know if I'm on step 3 or step 33 because I've never seen the full roadmap. I don't have a system. And some of you just don't even know where the heck to start, right? Well, in the next 45 minutes, we're going to show you what it takes. These 3 secrets: how to consistently get booked and paid to speak, even if you've never promoted yourself as a speaker or been paid to speak; how to stand out without spending $1 on marketing; and how to mine for speaking opportunities in less than 30 minutes a day. Let's go. Let's dive in. Secret number 1. After a decade of research and personal experience, Grant boiled down the professional speaking business model into a simple 5-step framework. We've used this framework with thousands of our students, including Missy West. Check this out. Missy's a former college basketball coach. Someone asked her to talk at a free gig, and then they invited her to speak at a large athletic conference. And she didn't believe she could do it, but she pushed through her fear, right? She didn't believe anyone was going to pay her because she thought she needed some big credentials, and she way undercharged. And after the talk, the event organizer said to her, Missy, this is your gift. They're like, you way undercharged. They're like, we had a pro athlete charge us $20,000. We learned nothing. They said, what you bring to the stage is so impactful, so powerful. You'll never charge that again. Your message is that powerful. And that was exactly what she needed to hear in order to really dive into this business and commit to it. And she told our CEO of the Speaker Lab and Booked and Paid, Grant Baldwin, that people saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. She says, I just didn't know where to go until I found the Speaker Lab and Booked and Paid, which is where you're at today. And folks, after she started working with us, she literally made 6 figures in her first year, right? And she is now a very confident female speaker. And this is the SPEAK framework that she followed. Now, here it is at a high level. Select the problem to solve, prepare your talk, establish yourself as an expert, acquire paid speaking gigs, and know when to scale. Here it is at a high level. Number one, this is the most important while often the most difficult, because most people don't know how to do this or they resist it. They don't want to. They're like, I want to speak to everyone. This may feel counterintuitive, but it makes getting gigs 10 times easier. You want to solve one specific problem for one specific audience. Let me check this out. Who would you go to if you needed surgery? Probably the surgeons, right? I'm thinking so. Not a trick question. What about if you had a brain issue? You'd probably go to the neurologist or the neurosurgeon, right? Right? Yeah. Folks, why is that? Well, you need a specialist. Like these people who are making decisions to bring in speakers, they're usually not a professional talent buyer. They don't know what the heck they're looking for. They usually put on a committee and they got the short straw, right? You need to make it easy for them to know that you're the person. If you went to somebody's website and they showed that they did 10 different things, as a jack of all trades, master of none, and then you went to someone else who that's exactly what they did, leadership, for example, who are you going to hire? If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to hire the one that's more clear, right? This isn't rocket science. So the more specific you are, the easier it is to actually find gigs. And it can be a little bit counterintuitive because, a lot of times people will say, well, I don't want to miss out on opportunities. That's probably something you might have said before. Or I have 5 different things I could talk about, right? Well, that's the number one way that I know that somebody's not a paid speaker, when they say something like that. And that's totally fine. I said those things too when I first got started. It's counterintuitive, okay? So who do you speak to? Let me know in the chat. Or what do you speak about? Let me know in the chat. We're going to go into on to number 2. Prepare your talk. You have to have a kick butt talk, because the best marketing, once you know how to get on stage and you have a system to consistently get booked and paid, then your best marketing is a great talk. Because what happens when people hear something great, they want to share it with other people. So you have to have a kick butt talk. Number 2, you just have to. You got to be good on stage. You can start where you are, but you got to be willing to grow, right? And number 3 is establish yourself as the expert. Think of this like your product packaging. Like if I were to bring ice cream over to you today, to your house, and I brought all 3 of these, and you didn't know any of these brands, the first time you ever heard of them, which one would you say is more attractive? Which one would you prefer? Probably number 1, right? Well, it's because it's your product packaging, right? Most people are going to think that means website and demo video, and that's true. You're right. You do need those things. But guess what? You don't need those things right in the beginning. We're going to tell you in a minute the number 1 tool you do need to get booked and paid to speak, and it's not a website or demo video, okay? Now, number 4 is acquire paid speaking gigs. This is step 4, y'all, not step 1. That said, when it is time, you need to be willing and you need to be proactive in reaching out. Right? You need to be an action taker. In fact, type the words action taker or I'm an action taker in the chat if you're an action taker, because I'm not going to sugarcoat it today, folks. Getting booked and paid to speak is hard, but it's worth it. Action taker, action taker. I'm an action taker. Love it. Love it. Awesome. You're awesome. No pain, no gain. Absolutely. You gotta be an action taker, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be painful either. You just got to be an action taker, right? Because remember, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you the exact scripts that Anne-Marie Anderson uses to book $200,000 in gigs, one of our students, right? She's an action taker. You got to be an action taker. Waiting and wishing is not a strategy. It's not going to fall out of the sky and bop you on the head. Robin says, FedEx is not delivering my dream. You're right. You got to deliver it. Absolutely. All right, number 5 is know when to scale. Y'all doing great, by the way. Know when to scale. That just means when to grow. When do you want to grow? We're all in the problem-solving business, right? You can solve your audience's problem in a number of different ways. Like you can do your keynote message, your speech. You can do workshops where you go deeper. You can do coaching where you go even deeper, right? There's so many ways to grow and scale. Some of our students want to grow their personal brand by writing a book or doing a TEDx talk or a podcast, but you got to know that speaking needs to be the tip of the spear, right? Books are the feathers on the spear, right? Podcasts, TEDx talks, those are the feathers on the spear. Speaking is the tip of the spear. It's the very best way in human history to market and sell anything. And it's the best return on investment of your time, right? So it also creates clarity, because when you speak, 2 things happen. Clarity happens and business happens. When you speak, business happens. And there's a proven step-by-step path to follow to get booked and paid to speak, and it's the Speak Framework. And this has helped thousands of our students make their impact as a professional speaker. Students like Mark LaRust, a millennial speaker over in the UK, and he got his highest paying gig to date of $7,000 US. The dude still can't believe it, right? Good job, Mark. Also, Dr. Peggy DeLong, how about her? She's a psychologist here in the United States who speaks on the power of gratitude to university students. This is a woman who spoke for 20 years for exposure, for free. You ever speak to get exposure, right? Yeah, she did for 20 years. She started working with us a couple of years ago. Within her first year, she started booking $10,000 and $15,000 gigs. In fact, she just emailed us recently. She booked another $10,000 gig. Folks, can you imagine what it's going to feel like when you get your first $10,000 gig? Let me know in the chat. Or if that's too much, what's it going to feel like to get your first $1,000 gig, right? Or $5,000 gig, or 15 or 20,000, whatever, wherever you're at, just boost it up a little bit. So who does this work for? This works for people like Peggy DeLong, who are experienced speakers. This works for brand new speakers like Missy West and everyone in between, coaches, authors, professors, experts, faith-based, corporate, you name it. It works for all kinds of speakers, y'all. So now you know the how, you know the Speak Framework, right? This is the framework that literally thousands and thousands of speakers have used. Now let's talk about how to get on some stages. How do you actually stand out without spending $1 on marketing? I want you to meet one of my friends, Eric Ream. He's actually one of our students. He's a former Army officer. He served over in Bosnia as a military police. He's a body language expert. It's pretty cool. I met him last January in Nashville. It was pretty awesome. And in 2005, he hit rock bottom. He was a civilian at that time. He's out of the Army. But despite having a great family, a good job on the fast track, he had a major falling out with his father. He got unlikely suspension from work, and his wife was confronting him for not living up to what she expected out of a husband and a father. Something needed to change, right? And he went to work on his life. Who here can relate to Eric? You either had something in the past or maybe something in your life right now that you just know you need to change, right? Let me know in the chat. And you see speaking being able to help you make that change. Well, a decade later, it was time to get his message out there. And that's when he found the Speaker Lab and Booked and Paid, which again is where you're at today. And he had some experience, Eric did, as part of his job, like many of you do. So he's pretty comfortable on stage, but he struggled hard with the business side of speaking. And luckily, that's where Grant's Speak Framework really shines. And so Booked and Paid took Eric through a process of getting crystal clear on who he serves and how, and then he went to work on the other 4 pillars of the framework. Now, this framework is simple to understand, right? But it takes time to implement and even more time to master. And Eric wanted to make sure that before he invested time and money into building a website and a speaker reel, that he actually had a solid market fit. So we helped him create the #1 tool for landing paid speaking gigs. This is secret number 2. I promised you. Here it is. So your number 2, the #1 tool, I should say, for landing paid speaking gigs is your speaker abstract. Now, your speaker abstract, we're going to get into this, what this is in a moment. But once you have that, you then need to take it to the market. Okay, so keep that in mind. You got to do market validation, market research. You don't just have a piece of paper and all of a sudden you're good to go. Now, it took Eric time and a lot of effort, but eventually Eric completed his speaker abstract and he started shopping it with event coordinators. And look what happened. He says, I ended up booking $36,000 in paid speaking engagement with just my abstract. No website, no demo reel, just my abstract, right? So folks, of course, $36,000 isn't going to pay a year full of bills for most people, but he was off to a pretty dang good start at the end of that first year. The next year he made $150,000, then $165,000. That's when he became full-time. He called that his freedom year. Type the word freedom in the chat, by the way. If you want the next 12 months of your life to be your freedom year, let me know in the chat. Give me some William Wallace up in here. All right, awesome. Freedom. Oh, Seth did it right out of the gate. Love it. Is it freedom? All right, well, he did $332,000 the next year, did Eric. And I just heard him tell Grant he's brought in over $2 million in the last 18 months. All right. And today, Eric's bringing in about $600,000-700,000 in that range just from his speaking engagements. And 60% of which is booked before the year even begins. He's already booking dates into 2026, y'all. So I want to be clear. Eric's doing up to $17,000 keynotes, up to $40,000 all-day workshops. He would not be able to get to that level without a professional speaker website and professional speaker demo video. That said, you do not need those expensive assets when you get started, right? He didn't have them and he got booked $36,000 worth. before he even had his website and demo reel, right? But you do at least need your speaker abstract like he had to start shopping your talk. And it just so happens, again, that Eric got paid to do market research, right? You got to do the market research. So just so we're all clear, also a speaker abstract alone is generally not going to allow you to build an entire business enterprise, like giant speaking enterprise. But it is the first, definitely the most important tool you're ever going to create, because it's going to really guide all the rest of the decisions that you make about how you promote yourself and how you talk, right? About what you talk about. So the old way is to get a bunch of footage, pay an editor, right? Speak 1,000 times and pay for an expensive website, pay for leads or ads, right? Send out one sheets, which are not the same thing as an abstract, by the way, only to realize there's no market for your idea and you wasted a bunch of time, right? Well, there's a better way to validate your business before you invest a ton of resources into it. Did y'all know that big businesses invest literally millions of dollars every year in market research before they ever put out a single ad, right? They want to know what's the number one problem that my audience has, that my product solves. And then they want to know, who's my number one audience member? This sound familiar, by the way? This is what we do in that process, that market validation process. They want to know, what is the pain caused by that number one problem? What's the language used by that person, right? Because we're going to use that in part of our abstract and our positioning overall. All right, so the abstract, a little more information here, is a 3 to 5 paragraph synopsis of your talk, who it serves and how it serves them. This is the core of this document. And it sounds easy, doesn't it? But it's not. It's not even a little bit easy. It can be simple, but it's not easy. And it takes testing and measuring, because once you have it, you're not done. You just now have a piece of paper, right? Now you need to take it to the market. You need to do your market validation. You need to do your market research, right? You need to know how to find leads, how to reach out to them, what to say, how to get them on the phone. What do you say when you get them on a Zoom? How do you position yourself? Where do you find the leads, right? You got to know the market validation process, okay? And not doing this process right here is the number one reason, I should say, why the vast majority of speakers never, ever, ever get booked and paid to speak, or they're not able to get it to the next level where they get booked consistently. It's not doing this process right here, okay? Now, if you don't know what your niche is, right? Just ask yourself, what was my problem I had 5 years ago? Because that version of you could definitely use your help today. And if you don't know how to narrow down your audience, developing your speaker abstract will force you to shift and adapt until you're crystal clear on your message and your audience, okay? Students like Dr. Reggie, one of our students, he says, I didn't want to narrow down my target audience. I wanted to talk to as many people as possible. But he says, the abstract helped me narrow down my audience and message in a way that actually explained to organizers what it is that I do. He started working with us a couple of years ago. In his first 30 days, he booked a gig for $2,500. It was only $2,500, but it was his first ever paid gig. 10 days later, 40 days in now, he got his second paid gig for another $2,500. He did 6 figures in his first 7 months after he started working with us. So y'all, it is absolutely possible for you to get booked and paid to speak, right? You just got to have the clarity, confidence, and the clear path. Now, remember Missy West's story. If you think your story is not impactful enough, remember her, one of our students, the event planners were more impressed with her, an ex-college basketball coach, than they were a former professional athlete they had paid $20,000 to speak. Folks, we use stories to move people, but event planners do not hire you for your story. They just don't. They hire you for your ability to solve their audience's problem. Write that down. And your abstract is the number one tool that shows them, makes it clear to them what problem you solve, right? So let me know in the chat. I want to check in and make sure, temperature check. Type the words, I need my abstract, or just the word abstract. If you're picking up what I'm throwing down and you get the severity of needing to have this and go through this market validation process, let me know. All right, beautiful, abstract. I need my abstract. This is great info. Awesome, beautiful. Beautiful. So now you know the business model that 6 and 7 figure speakers follow to consistently get booked and paid to speak, the SPEAK framework. You know the number one stage winning asset that every speaker must have to get booked in 2025, which is your abstract. Let's talk about getting on some stages. How do you do it? Like, where do speaking gigs come from? Here's just a couple ideas for you. Search traffic, paid ads, speaker referrals, client referrals, repeat business, your speeches, networking, showcases if you're in education or entertainment, media, press. The reality is, though, your phone isn't going to start ringing off the hook just because you have your abstract, website, or speaker video for that matter. It's great to have those things, but once you have your speaker abstract, now your job is to identify potential clients and reach out to them to find out if they need a speaker for their upcoming event, right? The quickest way to start booking gigs is to ask for them, right? No one's going to care more about how helping you get paid gigs than you. You got to wear the hat of agent, right? So let me talk to you about prospecting as we move into secret number 3. Let me talk about prospecting. I'm going to tell you a story about Pete Smith, one of our students. He was a senior year of his college career, about to graduate with a degree in poli-sci. And he tells his parents, I'm not going to grad school. I'm going to become a professional speaker. And they said, oh, no, you're not. They squashed his dream hard. Has that ever happened to you, by the way? Could be trouble. Could be trouble, right? Well, as you can imagine, Pete did not pursue his dream. He became a high school history teacher, kept that dream suppressed for 17 years until at the age of 35, he had a stroke. He had a stroke. And he said he had a 60-second flash of insight that served as a reminder that he would not live forever. He says, it wasn't like my life flashed before my eyes. It was about significance. I wondered if I mattered. He says, society tells us that happiness and success are all that matters, but all I could think about was fulfillment and significance, right? And after the stroke, Pete quit his job and he kept his family afloat through consulting gigs. And in 2014, he spoke for free at a local Rotary Club, and it struck, he normally speak on leadership, but that day he decided to talk about his stroke. And it struck such a nerve in such a profound way that he decided to give speaking another shot. And that's when he found us, right? When they say, when the student is ready, the teacher emerges, right? Well, that's when he found us. He took our booked and paid course. And in that end of that first year, he booked his first ever 5 paid speaking gigs. The next year he booked 20, then 31, then 42. And today, 80 to 90% of Pete's income is solely from speaking. Who wants that kind of trajectory? Let me know in the chat. Well, how does he do it? He asks to speak, folks. He doesn't wait for gigs to come to him. He goes out and he finds them. And he's not alone in his tenacity. Most professional speakers I know built their entire careers by finding the right gigs for themselves and asking to speak. And Pete's a proposal machine. Today he earns on average almost $10,000 per gig plus travel, and he still cranks out hundreds of proposals a year. So how do you hit the ground running? Where do you find speaking opportunities, and who do you talk to? Like, what do you say? Because if you want to consistently get booked and paid to speak, bottom line, you have to consistently look for gigs. Sorry, you just do. You got to be an action taker. In fact, if you haven't told me yet you're an action taker, let me know in the chat. Right? I know a lot of people think that means you got to quit your job and spend 50, 60 hours a week speaking. No, you don't need to do that. 3 to 5 hours a week, folks. What we found is that a small amount of consistent effort actually outweighs and outperforms bursts of energy. Plus, it's way more confidence building. You don't need to quit your job, right? Unless you want to. Something I learned from Eric Ream is that you have to plan your business around your life, right? This is why you need systems and leverage. System stands for save yourself time, energy, money, and sanity, right? And we need a plan that's realistic because we're all busy, right? We have a plan that we can execute on 5 days a week, even on the busy days. It's simple, folks. You need to have a plan for prospecting. 3 steps, plan for prospecting, okay? Number 1, find the event. You got to research speakers in your niche. Couple ideas for you. Research speakers. Look at their website, look at their demo video. There's clues in there. Look where they've spoken. People in your niche. Check the NSA website or Speakers Bureau websites. Find speaking events in your niche. And then check out associations, universities, nonprofit websites, and see what they've done in the past to start forming relationships, right? Once you know who you're looking for, Google's going to be your best friend, by the way. So is LinkedIn. You don't want to reach out to just info at emails. You want to actually look for the decision makers. Here's some most common titles. You can search these titles or the words call for speakers alongside keywords about your industry and your niche in order to find speaking gigs and the decision makers info. Now, a call for speakers sometimes happens. That's an event where they're literally asking for you to reach out to them and submit a proposal. Now, once you have that, number 2 is opening the conversation. This is where a lot of new speakers screw up and they do too little or they expose too much. And here's what I mean. You don't want to skimp on this. You want to customize your first interaction so they know you're not spamming a bunch of events. Let them see you're serious, right? This is not the time to also send them links to your website or your abstract. We just want to focus on opening up the conversation and beginning to build a relationship. If you're trying to sell yourself right out of the gate, could be trouble. Could be trouble. You're going to smell it a mile away, especially if they can tell you haven't had You don't have a solid grasp on what their attendees actually need, right? The fortune's always in the follow-up. So step 3 is track and follow up. You don't want to just spray and pray. You want to set reminders. You want to do follow-ups. Most of the effort's going to be in steps 1 and 2, okay? Once you have a system in place, you can literally follow up with dozens of prospects in 15 to 30 minutes a day, all right? But it takes consistency. It takes organization so nobody falls through the cracks, right? And it takes having a plan for prospecting. All right. So do this consistently and you might just see results like Tech Clark. One of our students, Tech was a professional scuba instructor for nearly 30 years. He had no idea how to get booked and paid to speak. When he became a student at Booked and Paid at the Speaker Lab, he realized he could translate the skill of workplace safety to improve workplace culture, right? And after we helped him develop his speaker abstract, he said the biggest aha was him learning how speakers connect with event planners and truly understand what they're looking for. And he says, I knew what the next question was going to be before it even came out of their mouth. I was totally prepared for it. And literally, Tech, when he started working with us, after he started working with us, he literally booked 5 out of his first 25 prospects, y'all. And today, Tech can confidently say that being a professional speaker is his new normal. It's his new normal, right? And I know a lot of you want that to be your new normal. We've been going strong for quite a while now here, just a little bit of time, and I've been having a ton of fun with all of you. Type the word value in the chat if you're receiving value and you're also having fun. Let me know in the chat. And I got a question for you. I'm just curious. We've gone through this booked and paid process. We're not done yet. My question is, let's just say you model what works. In school, they call that cheating, Yvonne. In the real world, they call it being smart, Alice, Marianne, right? You don't need to recreate the wheel. Right, but let's just say you model what works. Remember Eric Green making $600,000 a year, 6% of his business already set on January 1st? All he did was follow a system. Excuse me, he's not a robot. Missy West isn't a robot. She's just a normal person. She just followed a system, right? How many of you think, let me know in the chat, if you just model what works, if you just do what they did, do you think you could also get booked and paid, be successful? Or are you the exception to the rule? Come on, of course you can, Jan. Absolutely, Stephanie. Well, let's just say you totally screw it up, though, and you only do half of that. So now you're making $300,000 a year. For how many of you would make an extra $300,000 a year would be pretty dang cool? That's $25K a month. Come on now. Now, let's just say let's be more conservative. Let's say you totally screw it up, and you only get a half of that half. How many of you believe an extra $13,000 a month could make a difference in your life, change the quality of your life right now? Let's just say you totally screw it up, though. Let's be very conservative. You only get a half of Eric's results. That's only $6,000 a month. What would you do with an extra $6,000 a month? What would you do? For most people, I would dramatically change the quality of their life, right? The bottom line is you don't have to be perfect to be successful. As long as you follow the process, you still can be successful. And folks, it's not your fault. If you haven't been able to figure this out and get booked and paid at the rate that you want or consistency, don't beat yourself. You just haven't had access to the right systems, the right tools, the right awareness, the right people, the right community, right? Until now. So don't beat yourself up about it, right? So far, we've talked about the Speak framework, how to build speaker abstract, and how to mine for speaking opportunities. And let me ask you a question. Some of you, are you feeling like this, like you're drinking water from a fire hose? I know we covered a lot today here, and I talk fast. I'm just super excited and wanted to make sure that you got the core concepts in our limited time here together today. I don't want to leave you overwhelmed, though. I just want to inspire you with what's possible, okay? The reality is, though, that there's still a lot to this and a lot more things I could share with you if we just had more time, right? Do y'all agree with that? And so I actually worked with Grant Baldwin, our founder and CEO, and we put together something special to help you take this to the next level. And I want to ask you a question here. If there was a way for you to learn from 6- and 7-figure speakers for 2 days, you get to spend time with them. Would that help you? Would that help you? Let me know in the chat. Picture and imagine you working side by side and face to face in a virtual environment with 6- and 7-figure speakers for 2 days where we can actually see each other and talk and work together, helping you get the clarity you need to develop the confidence that you require to open up a clear path to make your impact. And you could launch, just imagine, you could launch your speaking business once and for all as a result of those 2 days with minimal investment of time and money on your part. Would that help you? Jan, Yvonne, Hazel, Jody, Marianne. And the better question is, would you take action? Remember, there's two types of speakers, folks. There's action talkers who are never going to take action. They like to talk about it, but they're never going to take action. And then there's action takers. So my question is, would you do it? Would you want that kind of support? All right. Well, write this down. What we've created for you is a special program we put together specifically to help you jumpstart your speaking business over 2 days. And it's called Booked and Paid Bootcamp. By the way, y'all, this is where the presentation starts to get a little bit sexy. I'm just saying. We're going to keep a G up in here, but it's about to get sexy. All right. Now, before I show you what that is, I wanted to ask your permission. If I could share this with you, I always like to ask permission. Would you like me to share a bit more about this now so you can see what it might look like for you to spend 2 days with 6 and 7 figure speakers? Yes. All right. Yes. Yes. Al says yes, yes, yes. All right. Marianne, thumbs up. Yes, please. Okay, great. If you're okay with that, let me know in the chat. All right. Most of you have said yes. So, all right, we're going to rock and roll. I'd love to share it with you. So now I'm going to give you a date right now. Unless you're going to the moon, Stephanie says, oui, that's yes in French. I took French. Unless you're going to the moon or you have a funeral to go to, heaven forbid, I invite you to consider that whatever you have going on these 2 days, you need to change it. You need to change it because this has the power to change your life. Many of you have been waiting for years to figure this out. We're going to show you in 2 days how you can finally do it. Okay. I'm not even kidding. So write this down. Friday and Saturday, March 28th and 29th, 11:45 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Write that down. And then just forget about the date for a minute. Don't even worry about, can you make it? Just write it down. Okay. Take a screenshot. Just picture and imagine you're going to be taught by 6 and 7 figure speakers who've been there and done that, giving you the real-time guidance you need to properly launch your speaking business, to help you learn how you can earn up to $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 per keynote speech. So you're going to learn the ins and outs of running a global speaking business and how to unlock the full potential of your life-changing message. And you're going to learn a step-by-step system for creating consistent income from stage. It's going to be very different from today. You're going to literally be able to see me and other professional speakers. We're going to be able to work together in a workshop environment and talk to each other. Right? So it's very, very highly interactive. You're going to work directly with professional speakers to help you learn how to clarify your brand positioning and identify your signature talk and develop your prospecting system. And you're literally going to build your first speaker abstract, y'all. Who's in for this? Come on now. Speaker abstract's the #1 tool you need to get booked and paid to speak. Stephanie was in and check out what she says. I just booked an event in September and have 3 more lined up and a potential long-term contract. This enabled me to actually get out there quickly without burnout. All right, don't worry about the dates. Tina, Stephanie, don't worry about it. Hazel, don't worry about it. The date is March 28th and 29th, but don't worry about the date. I got a surprise for you, okay? So don't worry about the date. Just write it down, okay? At the 2-day boot camp, we're going to walk you through step-by-step developing the first draft of your abstract, all right? Remember, this is the #1 tool that you need to land paid speaking gigs. We're going to take you step by step through the process. So by the time class is over, you can start shopping your talk. Because remember, once you're done with your talk or your abstract, you're not done. You're just getting started at that point. You then need to take that to the marketplace like Eric did. Remember, this is the same tool that one of our students, Eric, used to book $36,000 in speaking gigs before he ever even had his website. And Eric says, this is how you outclass the competition, avoid brand confusion, and charge higher fees for your speaking. Boom. Love it. All right, y'all. So this right here alone is worth over $1,000, like the cost of a professional resume build. Okay. The next thing we're going to do at the bootcamp is show you how to find leads, because remember, once you have your abstract, you need to then know how to take it to the market. All right. So we're going to show you and teach you our proven process for finding, engaging, and closing deals. You got to know who to look for. You got to know what to say when you find them. You got to know how to follow up without upsetting or turning off prospects. Plus, we're going to show you how to leverage technology to prospect 10 times faster than most speakers in the industry. So folks, we're going to literally deep dive into the Speak framework. We're going to teach you 7-figure secrets of how to scale past keynotes into workshops, and also insider tools, tips, and tricks based on the questions you have in real time. You're going to develop your own business plan as well. So if you don't know your niche right now, don't worry. That's exactly why you would come to this event, to get clarity. And if you do know your niche, but you're not getting booked and paid at the rate that you want, there's obviously a problem with your positioning as well. And that's why you would come to this event. Students like Dr. Alan Leica says, just in the last 2 weeks, I've gotten 10 speaking gigs. My schedule just exploded. My April's going to be insanely busy. Next week, I'm giving a TEDx talk at the University of Alberta, a TEDx salon. Boom. Way to take action, Dr. Allen. So folks, you're going to get a ticket to the exclusive booked and paid 2-day virtual bootcamp, where we're going to teach you the step-by-step framework, the SPEAK framework, and help you develop the #1 stage winning asset, your abstract, that's helped thousands of aspiring speakers launch successful speaking businesses, earning millions of dollars over the last 10 years. So you can avoid costly mistakes, book more gigs, get on stages more quickly, understand the industry, and build your business plan. Again, don't worry about the date. I know some of you have questions. I'm going to answer your questions as soon as we're done. Some of you are saying, this is all great, but I don't really feel confident on stage. I know that the Speaker Lab can help me get on stage, right? We're literally award-winning at that. Our students have had so much success. But we also know a thing or two about delivering a world-class talk. So we're going to give you this, it's actually a $1,000 program. It's called Stagecraft. We're going to give it to you for free. It's part of the program. You're going to see. And we're going to include this for you. And this is how to become confident and a masterful presenter. Whether you're brand spanking new and you need to get more confidence, or whether you're a highly trained speaker, the tips and tricks you're going to learn in this are going to be the difference between you getting a golf clap and a standing ovation. All right. So you're going to get access to this for life. Now, who is this for? Who does this work for? Folks, this works for brand new speakers like Missy West, and also experienced speakers like Peggy DeLong, and every speaker in between, folks. It's any speaker who wants to dazzle audiences while changing lives and getting paid to do it. Who's in for that? Well, Anthony Armstrong was in, and look at his results. He says, so far I've booked 4 talks and I have a couple more coming in. Love it. Stephanie's fired up. Now, with all this value, you might be wondering, Clinton, holy cow, this has got to be, what's this going to cost me? That's a great question. However, there's a better question. Take your consumer hat off, put your investor hat on, or your professional speaker hat on, and say, Clinton, what's the investment I need to make in myself? My #1 asset, myself, in order to position myself with the clarity and confidence to have a clear path to go out and get booked and paid to speak. That's a high quality question, friends. I can tell you right now, the 2-day boot camp working with professional speakers, you're literally going to be assigned a professional speaker today. They're going to reach out to you in the next couple of days. You're going to have a conversation with them. You're going to work with them, and then they're going to work with you as well as other 6- and 7-figure speakers for 2 days. Folks, that's priceless. If I had that when I got started, oh my goodness, I would have had so much more success, so much faster. So folks, you're going to get that, okay? So that literally, we've priced that out at $1,997 for those 2 days. That's for the whole 2-day boot camp. Also, the program is a $997 program. All right. So retail. So that's $2,994. But don't worry. Take a deep breath. We're not going to ask you to invest that much in yourself. But what if we did? What if you had to invest $2,994? I want you to really seriously consider this. What if you had to invest $3,000? And if all this did was allow you to go out and get the clarity and confidence that you need to get yourself booked and paid to speak. Write this down. What about, remember quiz time? What was the amount that brand new speakers were making up to according to the Events Industry Council? Write it in the chat. What was the amount that brand new speakers were making up to according to the Events Industry Council? I told you this early on in the presentation. Who was taking notes? Who was paying attention? Type it in the chat. Yes, Tom, $7,000. Yes, Tesh, 7 Yvonne. Nope, not $1,700, $7,000. So if you did that, and you had to invest $2,094, that'd be a 250% return. Would that be a good investment for you? But more importantly, what if it allowed you to do it again and again and again and again and spread your message around the world? Now you have a system where you're doing it over and over. What if it allowed you to fire your boss? Would it be worth it? You tell me. Folks, you're all getting this by now, right? Well, we had 2 choices when we priced this out. We knew, and I want you to think about which one of these is actually in your best interest. And it might be counterintuitive because you're going to think, oh, the first option, make this as cheap as possible. The problem with that is we'd have hundreds and thousands of people registering, and there's no way to give you any specialized guidance or individualized attention. And you know as well as I do, someone who doesn't put any skin in the game, they're going to be showing up on their phones, not paying attention. Folks, we don't have time for that. We do not work with people who are not serious, right? So option number 2 is invest a little bit in this. Require a little bit of an investment. It's not that much, right? It's nowhere near $2,994. And in exchange for that, we're going to be able to really stack the value for you and limit the size of the room so we can give you individualized attention. which one is actually in your best interest? Most people would say option 2, right? So before I share with you the investment, what would launching a speaking business be worth to you? I want you to really consider this. If you had a talk that you could confidently go on stages, present over and over again to new audiences, and bring in an extra $3,000 to $10,000 a month or more, what would that be worth to you and your family? Like, what becomes available to you that is currently not available? And how much would you invest if you knew that you could get that result? How much would you be willing to invest in order to get one talk that sells? Because folks, that's all you need is one talk that sells. I want you to really consider the real cost here to have 6 and 7 figure speakers with decades of experience. Literally, one of them is going to get assigned to you today, and then they're going to work with you for those 2 days, along with other 6 and 7 figure speakers, to help you clarify your positioning, your message, create your speaker abstract, and teach you the tools of the trade. Just to give you an idea, folks, I've paid as much as $5,000 for one single tip that I got from one of my coaches early on. And quite humbly speaking, that one tip has earned me tens of thousands of dollars in paid speaking gigs. Are y'all getting this? Like, you're not spending money frivolously on big screen TVs. You're investing in your number one asset, yourself, in order to get booked and paid to speak, to figure this out, right? To get the system. So folks, this is why you showed up today. Like, this is where the rubber hits the road. And you can see why it's a good deal if we did charge $2,994, but we don't charge that much, right? Because we want to make sure that this is accessible so that you can begin on your speaker dream today. All right. So the investment for the 2 days, for the general public, it's normally $997. Now, for a limited time on this promotional webinar only, we are offering it to you for a limited time with a limited number of spots available at only $297. Now, I know that several of you already know you're ready to join us. So everyone click on that link. Stephanie says, I want it. Click on that link now on the screen to secure your spot. You're going to notice another date that's on there as well, Stephanie, and Hazel and Tina that also had questions about that. I have more webinars, by the way, and once the spots are gone, they're gone. There's nothing I can do about it. These sell out every single time, usually a week in advance. So click on that link now to secure your spot and don't miss out, right? I'm also going to put it in the chat for those of you who maybe aren't seeing it for some reason on your screen. I'm going to throw it in the chat right now, so you can go ahead and click on that link as well to secure your spot and get yourself registered. First, right now, you're either in or you're on the fence, right? And if you're on the fence, like, it's not a very comfortable place to be, I know, but you could do nothing. The problem with that is, let's weigh that out. We just spent an hour together today. You've gone through this whole booked and paid process. You know this is your future. You know this is the vehicle you need. You know this is where you need to be to go to change your life. And you feel that way and I feel that way, but that's your first option. You can leave here today, and the very real circumstance and consequence of that is that nothing's going to change, right? My guess is, though, if you showed up today, then something needs to change. Am I right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have spent 60 minutes with me. Right? So your second option, though, is to invest this small amount in yourself today. Compared to all the value you're going to get to receive in return, it's kind of a no-brainer. So let's do this together. Let us be that champion in your corner. Now, what if I made this an absolute no-brainer? Jody, click on the link for the dates. Okay, click on the link. There's another date on there. What if I made this an absolute no-brainer for you? What if I said, totally risk-free, what if I said you could attend the full 2 days, get all the bonuses, walk away with your abstract and business plan, and if you're not satisfied or feel that you didn't get $297 of value from the event, we'll give you your money back, no questions asked. Would that help you? I hope so, because you're backed by my 100% risk-free money back guarantee. So click on the link now and secure your spot so you don't miss out, okay? This will sell out 100%. Now, whether you sign up today or not, folks, it's not going to change my life. It really isn't. But it is going to change your life. Okay. So, but you don't need to just take my word for it. Come join us for 2 days. If you're not getting the value that you feel you deserve for $297, you get your money back. No questions asked. Okay. But if you're like most people who go through this program, in the next 30 days, your life is going to change dramatically for the better. So I ask you, what is actually more risky? You going for it with a minimal investment and a money back guarantee, or not taking action and keep doing what you're doing, expecting a different result? Hazel, select the boot camp date because it's asking you that because it's giving you an option. If you can go to the first one, definitely go to the first one. If you can't, go to the second one. Everyone's asking me this question right now, so I'm going to answer it right now, okay? If you cannot make the date, which is March 28th and 29th, we have another one, April 11th and 12th. When you click on that link, click the link right now, you'll see what I'm talking about. You're going to click the register now or RSVP now, get your spot, okay? And you're going to notice that there's a drop down. It's going to have the 2 dates. You choose which one you want to go to, okay? Go to the first one if you can go to the first one. There's this thing called speed of implementation, right? But if you can't make that, then click the link and select April 11th and 12th and attend that event. It's the same exact time, Friday and Saturday, from 11:30 a.m. Eastern time in the United States to 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, both days, Friday and Saturday. If you can't make either one of those dates, or you're not sure that you which one you want to do, then you click the not sure option in the dropdown, and you're still going to be assigned a professional speaker. You're still going to get the discounted pricing, which that will not stick around forever, and you're going to get the bonuses. Okay, you're going to lock in the bonus. By the way, this is another bonus. You're going to want to be in my first 5 people as well. Melissa says, can't wait, I'm booked. Love it. All right. So Jody, get yourself booked and then we'll reach out to you. You're going to work directly with a professional speaker and they're going to get you all set up. Okay. We'll get you all hooked up. Melissa's booked as well. Awesome. Now, the real question is, would you invest 2 days of your year to explore this opportunity, which if it delivers even half of what I promised you today, it's going to pay for itself in spades, folks. Now, we love action takers. We love action takers. So, this is for my first 5 people, y'all. So you're going to want to get this. Nothing would be worse than doing all this work just to get done with the event and not know how to hit the ground running. Okay. Which is why we have a special action taker bonus for just my first 5 people who enroll. I'm going to give you this action taker bonus. So in addition to the $2,994 of value you're getting for just $297, right? The workshop, the bonus trainings, the development of your abstract, the support building your business plan, on top of everything we're giving you to prepare you to start looking for stages, just for the first 5 people we're going to give you who get started today, we are also going to give you Mr. George Clooney. I'm just kidding. We're not giving you George Clooney. We're going to give you the next best thing, which is professional help, right? And those of you who don't take us up on this offer, we're going to advise that you seek professional help as well. Just kidding. How would it feel seriously to get professional help? For my first 5 action takers, you're going to get access to a recording of a group VIP session with a 7-figure speaker. It's called 90 Day Sprint, where you're going to hear Eric working with live students, sharing how to crush the first 90 days. Remember how I said, once you get your abstract, you need to then take it to market, right? Would that help you to get that? By the way, that's a $500 value, $499. This is worth another $499 that you're going to get for free as a reward for just taking action to get what you already wanted. Now, for my first 5 people only, we're giving this additional bonus to the action takers who are ready once and for all to take their speaking dreams by the horns and take that courageous action to get started. Folks, now is the time when you stop listening to me and you start actually taking action. So everyone click on that link now on the screen to secure your spot and ensure that you don't miss out on this incredible bonus to help you launch. I'm also going to put it in the chat again. So you can click on that link in the chat to secure your spot and be one of the first 5 to receive that additional bonus. Now, who already knows they're in? Type the word registered in the chat. Who's already secured your spot? Let me know in the chat. Again, only the first 5 are going to get the 2 bonuses of the recording of the 90-day sprint session with a 7-figure speaker. I'm going to hang out for 10, 15 minutes right now. And I know one of the questions that y'all have, I've seen it a number of times, is I want in, but I want to make sure I'm in the top 5. I haven't looked at the list yet, so I don't know how many we have. I'm sure we have probably more than 5. If you type the words in process right now, if you've just been on the fence, just waiting to make sure you're going to get the discounted pricing, you're going to get all the bonuses, you're going to get assigned a professional speaker, and you've just been waiting to make sure you're in the top 5, or you've been fearful you're not going to be in the top 5, type the words in process in the chat right now. Everyone who's already registered, I'm going to give it to you because you took action. But if you're not sure, I don't know how many we've had so far. If you're in process right now and you want to make sure you're guaranteed the discounted pricing, you're going to get assigned a professional speaker, and you're going to get the bonuses and the additional bonus with Eric, which is the 90-day sprint with a 7-figure speaker. Type the words in process in the chat right now. I'm going to write your name down, and I'm going to make sure that my team gives you all of that. Guaranteed. No questions asked. So Marianne is in process. All right, looks like a lot of people already registered. Awesome. So it's a good thing. If you don't, you got to type the words in process right now, because I'm going to look at the list here in a moment. So let me know. All right. Now, let's see. So it says, Hazel says, 2 important steps before your registration is complete for the 2-day boot camp. So you're registered. If you got to that page, Hazel, you're gonna go to this page that says, wait a minute, you're not done yet, right? Listen to the video, watch the video of me, really simple, and just follow the process. All right, Douglas is in process. Thank you. Anyone else? Tell me that you're in process right now, or please forever hold your peace. Anyone else who has other questions that haven't been answered, type them in again if you don't mind, or just paste them in, because there's literally hundreds of people on here putting in posts. So once you get registered, it's going to send you to a page. It says, wait a minute, you're not ready, or you're not done yet. You are registered, but just finish up that process, because you're going to be able to set up a password for your pre-class prep course. It's an additional bonus we're giving you. Pre-class prep course done by yours truly. You're going to want to watch that as soon as possible. I'm going to give you a ton of value in there to really help you get the biggest bang for your buck. All your bonuses are housed right inside of your pre-class prep course. So you want to set up your password for that as soon as possible, like today. Just set it up right now. And then dig into the prep course. You can dig into all the bonuses. You don't have to do those right now, but get into the prep course. There's a podcast episode you're going to want to watch in there, the 90-day sprint with a 7-figure speaker, extra bonuses in there. And there's a speaker fee calculator, where also there's an intake form in there. You want to fill out that intake form. Give us your mailing address. We're going to ship you this book for free. It's a $25 book, just as an extra gift. It's literally a book written by our founder, Grant Baldwin, he wrote the book on how to become a successful speaker, y'all. This is like my speaker Bible. I keep it on my desk at all times. We're going to mail you that for free, but we can't do it if you don't give us your address. So fill out the intake form that's inside of the prep course. So first step, get yourself registered. Click the link, get yourself registered. Select the date you want to go to. If you're not sure, that's fine. Select not sure. We'll take good care of you. We'll reach out to you. We'll get you all squared away into one of our next ones. But you're going to secure the bonuses and everything. Dive into the prep course. Fill out the intake form. Watch the videos. Get prepared so we can send you this book. Okay? Make sure to put your cell phone in there as well, because one of the other questions we had was, are we really going to be working with professional speakers? Yes. Hello. Yes. Put your cell phone in there, because you're literally going to get assigned a professional speaker today. Okay, Yvonne, I'll be with you in one sec. You're going to get assigned a professional speaker today. They're not going to reach out to you probably today, right? They're busy, but they're probably going to reach out to you the next couple of days. Right? You got plenty of time before the event. You're going to get to know them even before the event. You're going to be able to have a Zoom call with them before the event, or maybe even a phone call, right? Wherever you prefer. And then you're going to be working with them and other 6-figure and 7-figure speakers at the actual event. So if you want to work with 6- and 7-figure speakers and you feel like that's going to help you be successful, click the link now and get yourself registered. Oh my goodness. And tell me in process right now, please, in the chat, so that I can write your name down and make sure you're good to go. Tom, what does that mean? Your comment there. All right. Yvonne says, I'm trying to change my card number to my new card and the site won't let it. I shall keep trying. Okay, Yvonne, just close that down. Save the link here. I'll put the link in the chat again. Save the link and just go to another page. Go to like a different browser, like Safari, or do it on your phone, or go to an incognito window if you know how to do that in Google Chrome, or maybe Firefox is the other one. Do that, because sometimes there's something called cookies. It's above my pay grade, but that's kind of like a technical term, right? In computers, not really that technical, I guess, but you want to go to a different browser. Sometimes the cookies just gets screwy. I'm not sure what happened. So let me know if you have any challenges, Yvonne. Anyone else having challenges with the link, raise your hand. Let me know in the chat. Who else is in process right now? Welcome to the party, Marianne, Shauna. Welcome to the party, Kaylee. Welcome to the party, Hazel. Welcome to the party, Robin. Congratulations, Stephanie. Congratulations, Melissa. Congratulations, Romby. Congratulations, Douglas. Congratulations, Dan. Congratulations. Wow. Good thing you typed in process, because we definitely had more than 5. Okay. And that's not even all of them. I don't have the full list in front of me. Not receiving an email yet, Robin says. Well, give it a second. Give it a second, right? It'll be a couple minutes probably, and then you'll get the email. As long as, Robin, did you get the page of me saying, wait, you're not done yet? Watch this video. As long as you got there, you're good to go. And you put in your email address correctly, you're going to get the email. All right. And as long as you haven't like opted out of our emails in the past, but we'll find out in the next little bit, and we'll reach out to you if for some reason you're not getting it. All right. Who else has questions? By the way, once you get yourself registered, make sure to set up your password for the pre-class prep course. Like I said, let me show you what it's going to look like here. So, boom, we'll go there. And then boom, let's go here. Let's go here. All right, again, make sure you set up your password. Oh, I need to reset my password. So I can't show you that, but I'll show you this. When you go to the page, anybody who is, can't make that initial date, whoops, you're going to go here, you're going to go here, and you're going to select the other date, April 11th. And if you're not sure, you just select not sure, right? And that's how you're going to get yourself registered, okay? So let me go ahead and share this screen again. Now, another question people ask me a decent amount. First of all, let me make sure there's nobody else has additional questions in the chat. Let me know right now. And also, anyone else who I call your name right now, if you've not yet registered or not yet said in process in the chat, tell me why you haven't gotten yourself registered. Alice, I think you've already gotten registered. Audrey, Kaylee's already gotten registered. Daryl, what's going on? Douglas, I think you might have gotten registered. Marianne, Mary Francis, Melissa, Michael, Nicoletta, Rahila, Robin, Ruth, Sagar, Sola, Stephanie, Tesh, Tina, Yvonne. Some of you have already registered. Some of you are in process. For those of you that just called your name and you're not registered yet, or you're not in process, tell me in the chat what's going on. It's a private chat. Okay, Daryl says, I can't make either of those dates. Daryl, get yourself registered anyways. It's $297. You're getting $3,000 worth of value. You're getting the priceless opportunity to have a conversation with a professional speaker, and we're going to get you into your next one, one of our next ones, okay? So you'll be well taken care of, Daryl, but you don't want to miss out on the price point, the decreased pricing right now, and the bonuses, okay? Marianne, absolutely. Welcome to the team. You did get registered, right, Marianne? I'm pretty sure I saw your name come through. We've already talked about that. Yes, you're in, Marianne. Yvonne, welcome to the party. You're in. All right, you're good to go, Marianne. Have a wonderful time. Congratulations to all of you who are starting with us. Really excited for you. I just want to acknowledge you for having the courage to get started. Way to take action. You got to take action. You don't take action, it's never going to happen, right? All right, my pleasure, Yvonne. I'm glad that worked for you. Who else is having any challenges? Anyone else having any challenges? Remember to fill out the form so we can send you your book. We only have about 5 minutes left, and I'm going to cut out of here a little bit early if nobody else has any questions. Kaylee, welcome to the party. You are in, my friend. Congratulations. I'm just checking to make sure there's no other questions. I want to make sure Hazel did get in. Okay. Stephanie, I believe, got in as well. Who else has questions? Type them in the chat. Who else is in process? Or if you haven't yet gotten registered, what's holding you back? What's stopping you from actually getting yourself registered? I'm just looking here on my phone to see if I'm pretty sure Tina is in. Let's see. Rombi's in. Douglas is in. Dan is in. Christy is in. Tina, did you get yourself registered? Sagar is having technical issues. Sagar is in process, though. Okay, Sagar is in process. Let's see. Tina, did you get yourself in? I don't remember if I saw you come through or not. Let me know in the chat. I thought for sure you were getting yourself registered. Did you get yourself registered? Oh, Tina's in process. Okay, cool. And then Jody was in process. I'm pretty sure I saw Jody come through. Again, if you have any, Jody, did you get yourself registered? I don't see yours yet. Robin Bishop Marin, what about you? You just gave me your full name. What's up with that? Do I need to do something with that? Jody, did you get yourself registered? Let me know in the chat. Oops. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Robin, I feel like I entered the wrong email. Okay. Robin, I can research that afterwards, and I will just make sure, just type in the email in the chat now. I'm the only one that can see it, and I'll make sure, because other people are getting their emails. Okay, Tina's in process. Sagar's in progress or in process. Jody, where are you at in the process? Let me know, please, in the chat. Let's see here. Who else has questions? Let me know. Oh, Tina did just come through. Okay, you're good to go, Tina. Congrats. All right, Daryl is in process. Okay, we only have a couple minutes here. Had a great bath too. All right, Tina, good to know. All right, so she's good. Daryl, you're already in, my friend. Don't register again. If it's Daryl Popovich, you're already in. Is that you, Daryl? Okay, you're already in, friend. So don't register again. You'll pay twice. We don't want you to do that. All right, Douglas. Did Douglas get in? Remember to fill out or set up your password for your pre-class prep course. You want to jump right into that prep course, okay? And Douglas, did you get in, by the way? I don't see you in here. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. You are in. You are in. That was an old comment. So Sagar is in process. Jody's in process. Hazel, did you get in? I think Hazel did get in. Hazel did get in. I already saw her. All right. Who else is in process? Who else has questions? We've got about 2 minutes left. So let me know in the chat if you're in process, if you have questions. Where are you at? Some help with my dates, please. Yeah, that's fine, Tina. You already got registered. We're going to reach out to you. There's going to be a form that's going to be sent to you. You're going to let us know what's going to work for you, and you're also going to get reached out to. So we'll take good care of you, okay? As long as you selected not sure, it'll all happen as it should. Okay. All right. So Tina's in, Daryl's in, Kaylee's in, Yvonne. Okay. So Sagar, or how you doing on yours, friend? Jody, what's cooking with you? And then Hazel. Did I already say Hazel? I know I keep saying her name for some reason. Yes, she's already in. Okay. She's already good. All right. So Audrey, are you in? Did you get yourself registered? Rahila. All right, I've got your email here, Robin. I can snag it from here. Ruth, did you get in? Sola, did you get in? Tesh, did you get in? Yvonne, I think, did already get in. All right, Robin. There she is. There they are. Thank you. Okay, my pleasure. Okay, I'm going to cut out of here in the next couple seconds here, y'all. If there's any questions, you need to let me know now. If anyone else is in process, I will hang out. Sagar, give me an update, please, because I need to cut out of here soon. Let me know in the chat, where are you at? If you're still having internet issues, please try it on your phone. It's my pleasure, y'all. I know you're all saying thank you. I appreciate you as well. You're going to kick butt. So just dig into the prep course. Get as much clarity and confidence as you can before the event even happens, right? Meet with your professional speaker. And when they reach out to you, please reach back out to them. That's not an automation. That's a real person taking time out of their busy day to reach out to you. Okay. And they're an actual, professional speaker. So you want to make sure to don't waste their time, and they're not going to waste your time either. So make sure to dig in, fill out the form so we can send you this book for $25 book for free. It's an awesome book, and really get you set up for success. All right, y'all, I'm going to cut out of here. Sagar, I need to know your update right now, please, because I need to go. Time is everything, friends. Time is not money. Time is everything. All right, y'all, congratulations. Welcome to the party. Sagar, let me just see if that was you who posted. My pleasure, Alice. Okay, I will keep trying. Sagar, so it's an internet thing you're having a challenge with? I can call you or have someone call you right after this, Sagar, to help you, okay? We can do it for you. Does that sound good, Sagar? Please confirm. And then I got to go. All right, y'all. Bye for now. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Davis, you're in, my friend. Congratulations. You just made the cut. You snuck in at the last minute. So Sagar, we will reach out to you right away and help you get set up. I know you're having issues with the internet. Have a wonderful rest of your day, y'all. Congratulations, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, bye-bye.